and gentlemen, and welcome to the Spring 2020 Awards and Graduation Ceremony for the UTEP Department of Music and the Department of Theater and Dance. We're delighted to have you join us for this unconventional ceremony that honors our outstanding undergraduate and graduate students. In a traditional ceremony, we might have the opportunity to hear all of you yell, scream, and whistle for your favorite graduates. Well, we encourage you to do all of those things as loud as you would like to in the privacy of your own homes. But we would also love to hear from all of you as well. And the way we can do that today is by using the chat located at the bottom of your Zoom screen to send positive messages of encouragement, love, and best wishes, along with your favorite emojis directed at your graduating family and friends. At this time, it is my great pleasure to introduce my friend and colleague, the Chair of the Department of Theater and Dance, Professor Cristina Goletti.
Thank you, Dr. Wilson. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here. Bienvenidas y bienvenidos a todos los que nos están escuchando, a los estudiantes y a sus familias. Es un placer y un honor poder contar con su presencia. It's also my deep honor to introduce you the Dean of the College of Liberal Arts, Dr. Dennis O'Hearn. Dr. O'Hearn is a native of Carlsbad, New Mexico, and he's also a first-generation college student. He graduated with a PhD in sociology from the University of Michigan at Ann Arbor, and he went into an academic career that brought him all over the world, teaching at great institutions in the US, Ireland, Portugal, Turkey, just to name a few. He's also a prolific author, having written books on the Irish economy, history, on the Kazakh in Russia, and on the history of the Zapatistas in Mexico. Dr. O'Hearn has a deep commitment to issues of social justice and social mobilities, and is also a great advocate for the binational and bicultural nature of the El Paso del Norte region. Without further ado, please welcome Dr. Dennis O'Hearn, Dean of the College of Liberal Arts here at UTEP.
Muchas gracias, Cristina. Bienvenidos, bienvenidas, y buenas tardes. It's good to see you all today. I'm very, very proud of you, and I want to thank everyone for inviting me here to talk to you today in this rather strange circumstance. There's an old saying that it's an ill wind that blows no good, and certainly the coronavirus is a very ill wind. But I think we've all found that it has blown some very, very good things, and I'd like to just talk about some of them for a minute. I think it's good that we're discovering some things that are very real that maybe we had forgotten about. We're starting to realize what is important. Things like family, nature, creativity, which is very important to all of you today, and solidarity. There's a wonderful video which has come out. It's kind of gone viral in the islands of Ireland and Britain, called The Great Realization. And I invite you to look at that. Go on YouTube and write in The Great Realization. It has an S, realization with an S rather than a Z. The English don't use Z's very much. And I think you will find an example of that. But you know, we've even seen all of these wonderful public displays. I mean, I was watching a video yesterday of someone who is practicing his horn in his apartment and not realizing that everybody was listening. And when he was done, people started clapping him. And those are the kinds of things that we're rediscovering each other in a way I think that many of us had forgotten. I'd like to make a confession. As Cristina said, I grew up in Carlsbad. I always like to say that my father was a potash miner. And after all these years, I'm very happy to be a miner too. It's really wonderful to be at UTEP. But until I came to UTEP, I never went to a commencement. I guess in a way I'm a child of the 60s. I didn't go to university in the 60s. I'm old, but not that old. But a lot of people say that the 60s kind of moved into the 70s, and that was when I did go to university. And at that time, and I think for real reasons, we saw things like commencement and graduation ceremonies as something that was not a celebration of achievement by the students, but was something of not only a rite of passage, but a rite of exclusion. The getting of a degree was something that would happen in elite universities for only a certain class of students. and often only students of a certain color. First generation students were rare, although it had started to open up because of the post-war or post-Second World War generation. And, you know, the universities were only starting to become what they should be, a real public university, which is a place which invites the community in and invites students in to make it a diverse and much more fruitful and interesting place. So I never went to any commencement ceremonies until I came to UTEP as a dean 2 years ago. And, you know, I was very, very surprised and elated, really, at the way in which the commencement ceremony was really a time of joy and celebration. And the reason for that was that UTEP is a new kind of public university because it has this mission of access and excellence. And the mission of access, you know, with a high number, a high percentage of first generation students like I was, I always felt out of place in the university. But I hope that students in this university feel like they're really a part of the university. A high proportion of students who come from low income family backgrounds, from working class backgrounds, and even non-working backgrounds. I've always said that, you know, what that means is that we have a university that is much more interesting and much closer to the world, which is what a university is meant to be all about, than the elite universities, many of which I've been at over the years. So my first commencement, I was just thrilled at the joy, the pure joy that I would see on the faces of all of the students. And I know that it's very hard for all of you who are coming to this virtual celebration not to be able to celebrate a graduation in the way that you had expected that you would. I don't think any of us really thought that something like the coronavirus would come and hit us and have such a huge impact on our society and the way in which we do things. But I do want to say that I really appreciate the students, and I've come to love the commencement ceremony as a time of real joy and celebration. And joy and celebration are a thing which have become less and less common over the years. And maybe that's something that we're beginning to realize as well because of this virus, that celebration is a very, very special thing. And it's something that we need to reconnect with as much as we can. So I want to thank Steve, and I want to thank Steve Wilson and Christina Goletti for organizing this virtual event. I hope very soon we will be able to have a real event where, you know, we will be able to actually shake your hands, give you hugs, do all of the things that we have been able to do to celebrate your achievements together. But today, and this celebration is really about you, the students. And I want to thank you all for coming here. I want to thank you for making UTEP the really special university that it is. And when I say that, I mean, I've been at many, many of the elite universities all over the world. And I've always found them to be not my home. UTEP is the first university I've worked at where I feel like I'm at home. And it's because of the students, it's because of you, and because of the way in which the community of Paso del Norte, El Paso, and Juarez are able to work together and to make this a very special place. So congratulations on your graduation. Felicidades, welcome, and you know, let's go on with the celebration. Before I shut up, which I will in 2 seconds, I do also just want to thank Mark Rabideau for coming. It's very important that he has done that, and I think it's great that he's recognized the importance of this event by coming. I was looking into his background for a little bit before the ceremony, and I see that he is reimagining how we must prepare musicians to thrive within the shifting marketplace and cultural landscape of the contemporary moment. Well, I have rarely seen such a shifting cultural landscape, much less a shifting marketplace is what we're seeing today. And, you know, the things that we're seeing with, you know, the musician who goes out and plays on his balcony, and the neighbors and friends who applaud the musician and who come together in that sense of solidarity, I think is something that begins to show a little bit about how we can begin to reimagine what a new society, which really takes many of the great aspects of what we once had and reinserts them into our everyday lives, of what that really can be and how special a society we can make once we're able to come together after the passing of this terrible virus. So welcome to everybody. Thanks to everybody. Thanks to Mark, to Steve, Christina, to all the faculty of both departments. And first of all, thanks to all of the students, and congratulations to you all. So on with the ceremony. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. O'Hearn, excuse me. Our keynote speaker is a longtime friend of mine who I have had the opportunity to collaborate with on a number of occasions. He is at the forefront of music and higher education and is leading the way in refining college curriculums to reflect an entrepreneurial mindset needed for today's complicated arts economy. Mark Rabideau is the director of the 21st Century Musician Initiative at DePauw University. He serves as editor and publisher of 21cm.org, editor of the College Music Society Emerging Fields in Music, and is the author of the 21cm Introduction to Music Entrepreneurship, recipient of the 2018 Society for Arts Entrepreneurship Educators Innovative Arts Entrepreneurship Pedagogy Award. A compelling arts advocate, Mark has delivered recent talks at Curtis, Yale, American College in Greece, the Civic Orchestra of Chicago, and American University in Cairo, Egypt, where he was named Distinguished Visiting Researcher. Mark has served on the Quincy Jones Music Consortium and is president-elect for the College Music Society. Ladies and gentlemen, via the chat, please help me welcome Dr. Mark Rabideau.
Greetings, Dean O'Hearn, Dr. Wilson, Professor Goletti, faculty and staff, friends and family, and the graduates of the class of 2020. I am honored to be with you today, the 105th commencement ceremony of one of the most forward-looking institutions in this nation, an institution that has committed itself to training artists of the 21st century, artists that understand the value they bring to society, artists the world needs now. I am so grateful to share with you this moment of reflection, celebration, and launch. Graduates, you will have already discovered that life is full of joyful surprises and unexpected wonder, and too, at times, uncertainty. Life is a complicated place to live. But it is during these moments, at the edges of the human experience, that we are reminded that we must remain focused on our greatest priorities, locked on our core principles, and guided by our deepest belief systems. For me, this includes taking time to exude gratitude for those who care for us. Graduates, won't you join me in thanking the teachers who helped you arrive at this moment and the staff who supported you throughout your degree in ways seen and unseen? And won't you take a moment and express your love and gratitude to your parents, grandparents, and guardians, those who gave birth to this beautifully talented collection of children, and those who raised them as if they did. These are the people who love you most, and these are the people most deserving of your love. Today, we should give a special shout out to the doctors and nurses, policemen and women, firefighters, custodial staffs, sanitation crews, and all of the first responders and essential workers who, during this challenging time, continue to care for us. Graduates of 2020, this is your moment. I am so proud of you, proud of the honors students who made it look so easy, and even more proud of those of you, more like myself, who dragged ourselves across a 5 or 6 year finishing line. Stand tall. Today is your day. Minors, let me hear you. Picks up. Dear artist graduates, here you are once again at a crossroads. And the excitement about what can be is complicated by the fear of what could happen. So let's talk about that. When you applied for school, you were probably told that you should not go into the arts if you could imagine doing anything else. That was good advice. You have spent the past few years, as my friend David Taylor says, embracing the joy of the struggle. You did not wait for inspiration, but pursued it on your own, striving for mastery where perfection does not exist, bringing an otherwise dark stage to life, learning to play something difficult so well to make it sound easy, all signs of your Texas grit and tenacity. And with degree in hand, you are now equipped to enter into the world. This is an increasingly connected world in which the vast expanse of technology provides unprecedented access to global audiences. It's a world where art is embraced throughout every culture, where music, theater, dance bind communities together as they mourn collective hardships and celebrate shared moments. You needed these past few years to focus and to hone your skills. But now that you're graduating, I want to tell you the second half of that good advice about entering into a life lived through the arts. The part we've been waiting until this moment to share with you. You need to be more than someone who plays the cello really well, or who has mastered trumpet excerpts most likely to appear on an orchestral audition. You need to be bigger than the number of lead roles you've performed or the accolades showered upon you after a performance. You need to be not just an artist to a panel, but an artist to the world. So how has your education in the arts prepared you for what is next? Equip you to not only make your mark, but to make a difference? These past few years has been about more than learning how to do things, but rather about developing yourself as someone who can make the world a better place. And as musicians, choreographers, dancers, actors, and directors, you are uniquely qualified to do this work. We often talk about how the arts are good for us in measurable ways, but I think they are good in immeasurable ways as well. Parents and teachers encourage children to become involved in the arts, knowing, even if just intuitively, that it increases their chances of being successful in life. And lots of folks make good arguments that participating in the arts raises standardized test scores and increases school attendance, and that it elevates brain function and grows emotional intelligence, and that it teaches discipline and it builds self-confidence. It is hard to imagine a better way for a child to spend their time than by ushering beauty into the world when transforming a blank canvas into an expression of the world we hope to live in. But I think the life lessons of artists is more than better math grades, and even more than fostering the bravery it takes to get up on stage and bring to life a character that had only previously existed on the page. Here are those immeasurable ways. The act of pursuing life as an artist at the highest level helps us develop the mindsets that empower us to shape our own future. We develop curiosity about what can be, creativity in finding solutions, a collaborative spirit that brings ideas to life, and the tenacity to push forward, even in the face of adversity. It is these very mindsets that allows us to bring about change. And it is knowing that we are empowered to bring about change that hope is instilled within us. Hope that our lives and the lives of those we love most can improve. Hope that as we share our art with others, that their lives might be enriched. Hope that devoting a life to ushering beauty into the world can combat the destruction we see continually unfolding on our 24-hour news cycles. The first action in the complex sequence of events that brings music into our lives is not found in the moment that a composer puts ink onto the page, but rather resides in the stirrings of the mind and imagination as curiosities about how rich harmonies and driving rhythms will underpin yet define melodies. Just as music comes to life in the mind's ear of the performer long before the first note is sounded, music begins by embracing our own curiosity about what we can express, achieve, deliver, Music, theater, dance all grapple with ambiguity, complexity, and abstraction when sharing a view of the world that has not yet been seen. The arts are about more than settling on right or wrong answers. Instead, it's a path to understanding the world in which we live, to sharing ideas, to posing questions that could not be answered on bubble sheets when using number 2 pencils. Artists are creative, not simply recreative. Whether inventing a personal approach to a character, composing original choreography, improvising a one-of-a-kind solo, or scripting an original screenplay, artists chase down ideas that have not yet lived in the world, stories that have not yet been told. And by doing so, they create something new that speaks to our shared experience. Your creativity is why what you do is an art, not a science. Art is inventive. You bring to life that which does not yet exist. Science is observational. Scientists make sense of the world that already surrounds us. And although we are required to make sense of works created in a different time and within a different culture, we must never forget that our principal job is to create new ideas, make new meaning, tell stories that have yet been told. Collaboration is how things get done, and you are ready to do just that. Making music with someone is as complex a task as any I know. Synchronizing bow and breath, downbeat and dynamics, all toward creating a single musical story is an art unto itself. The collaborative skills learned when launching theater, dance, and operatic productions have equipped us for teamwork that Miners head football coach Robert Dobbs, during his 1965 8-3 season and Sun Bowl victory, would envy. Although I do think it's worth noting that we might have a resurgence of UTEP football soon. Collaboration is an inexhaustible skill with purpose in every aspect of our lives. Understanding and leveraging the rules of collaboration allow us to draw the best from those around us, create projects greater than the sum of our parts, and find solutions where others have failed to do so. Collaboration is what is most missing in a world in need and most prized within the artist's mindset. Artists are tough and tenacious. They have to be. This isn't easy work, but you are equipped to do it. Toughness begins by logging in countless hours in the dance studio, teaching muscle memory akin to an Olympian's regime with gold in mind. These routines take equal toll on our minds and bodies, but we push through toward our prize of delivering the unattainable, perfect performance. Tenacity and resilience are something to be developed. It's not in our DNA, but a way of thinking. Tenacity is strengthened with each attempt at a passage we continue to struggle to render. We strive for complete mastery where perfection does not exist. Share intimacy of expression with those we have not yet met. This demands a toughness and grit physically and emotionally that is rare. Resilience is developed as we take the stage, knowing from hard-earned experience that delivering a flawless performance is unlikely, despite every preparation. As dancers, we are tasked to create a universe of movement, drawing our audiences in and challenging them to see something they did not yet know existed. This is a daunting charge, only achieved by those who take a hero's journey. And on this journey, you will find that your tenacity will prove to be among your greatest assets when inventing the world you hope to live in. So how does a life lived through the arts instill hope? Hope is at the heart of what art uniquely offers the world. Whether for a packed opening night or for one other person, art creates spaces to experience our shared humanity. When that happens, when we have a shared experience, we can then begin to connect to the people and issues that surround us. We begin to show empathy for one another, and we're given the insights needed to take on the bigger challenges we see in the world and within our communities. One way we see this in the arts is through a powerful lyric. Songwriters have a way of demonstrating a rich opportunities of crafting ideas that are ambiguous enough for each of us to find ourselves within, but concrete enough to learn from its message. Stepped out the front door like a ghost into the fog where no one notices the contrast between white on white. And in between the moon and you, the angels get a better view of the crumbling differences between wrong and right. I imagine each of us has felt at some moment in our lives the feeling of being invisible, inconsequential, and confused. This haunting lyric opens up a space that all of us can occupy when dealing with its message. And that is what art can uniquely do, create spaces to experience our shared humanity. And when this happens, when we have a shared experience, it is then that we can begin to show empathy for one another. But sharing a universal humanity through art is not limited to words. You can hear it in the triumphant opening melody of the first movement of Gustav Mahler's Symphony No. 2, as well as experience it through the multimedia exhibition of Vincent van Gogh's work in Paris, France. The Atelier des Lumières exhibition features projections that animate some of the more than 2,000 works from the last 10 years of Van Gogh's life. The immersive experience provides viewer a window into the emotional, chaotic inner world of Van Gogh during his final decade. And in doing so, offers us access to a deeper understanding of one of the growing challenges facing society today, the complexities of mental illness. Lyricists, poets, playwrights, dancers, choreographers, and artists all create worlds that can isolate extremely personal emotion. In so doing, and this is the great mystery of art, they may express that which is most fundamental to all of us. The concentration a poet lends to describing a single leaf, the rise and fall of a melody rendered by a musician, or the artist's brushstroke can evoke an entire world. As hard as it is to define, everyone here today has experienced the transformative, connective powers of the artistic experience. For me, this was never more evident than a recent trip to New York City to hear the Philadelphia Orchestra perform Samuel Barber's Adagio for strings. When my children turned 16 years old, my gift to them is an experience of their choosing. When my daughter, Mary Pauline, a violinist, turned 16, this was a trip to Carnegie Hall to hear what many would regard as the world's most revered string section perform the most compelling work ever written for strings. The evening began with a lovely dinner at an upscale restaurant with Mary Pauline, my wife Laura, and I, all dressed to the nines. The concert was to be held at one of the truly historical venues, and I was sharing the experience with the two musicians I love most, my only daughter and my beautiful wife. Nothing could be more perfect. Upon the downbeat of Barber's masterpiece, I turned to watch Mary Pauline's face light up as the unison violins sounded the opening note. And I already can see tears streaming down her cheeks. I turned to cue my wife so she too could see the emotion of her daughter, only to realize that Laura as well was weeping. This is the artistic moment, a connective moment, and realization of all that is embodied within Barber's work. Pain, sadness, sorrow, grief, tenderness, joy, and hope. Barber had created a work that expresses the emotions at the core of the human experience. It has always been my belief that creativity resides at the thin line between hope and despair. And as you leave this campus and move through life's journey, facing the inevitable challenges that will come your way, it is my hope that you will turn to your creativity within yourself to write your paths, forge new ways forward, invent a more hopeful future. What makes me confident in this assertion? As artists, you are equipped with the internal resources to bring about change in your life and in the lives of others. Through your ability to imagine a world that does not yet exist, create the future you want for yourself and for others, and draw upon those around you to move forward in step with those you most rely upon. This is all that is required to make a better life. That and the grit to do the hard work that is demanded of all of us to make the world a better place. Your task is to foster your curiosities, harness your creativity, hone your collaborative skills, and lean into your grit. I want to offer a new perspective for what these past years have prepared you for. What if you were to think of your life's work the way composers go about their artistic process? They see the big picture first, the scope of the work, the instrumentation as it impacts orchestration, moments of arrival and transition that lead us on a hero's journey or glide us across a dance floor, 4 feet scrambling to find 3 beats. The thought that a composer begins a masterpiece in measure 1 and never lifts her pen from the page until the final note of the coda is absurd. Neither life nor art unfolds in linear fashion, nor will the difference you make in the world. So what if you were to think of your life as your masterpiece? What do the big moments look like? How do the transitions unfold? Who will be in your cast? And who will be your audience? How will you orchestrate the composition of a life well lived? How will your art instill hope in a world that needs your art? When I close my eyes, I remember exactly how I felt this day 2 many years ago, full of hope, full of promise, ready to take on the world. And when I open my eyes and see you, dear arts graduates, I want to tell you that your future is promising. That does not mean that it won't unfold unexpectedly along the way. It will. You will suffer a few, maybe more than a few, bumps in the road as you compose your career, your life. But when you do, please remember this: worlds end, worlds begin. And your ability to imagine the future you want for yourself is what will get you through, because a life lived through the arts prepares us to be open to new possibilities, even in our dimmest moments. Preparing for this convocation address, reached out to a classmate and friend, Awadajan Pratt, for advice. In my estimation, he had given 2 mediocre graduation speeches in recent years, and I thought I could learn something from his experience. His advice was, keep it short. Students only remember 3 things from a good speech, in which case, in your luck, because the best you could hope for is possibly 2. So what are the 2 things I hope you take away from our time together as you go out into the world ready to invent your own most promising future? Be authentic. Be grateful. Be true to your own unique voice. It is time to discover what you offer the world that no one else does. And this makes sense. This is a personal journey best done away from the busyness of 120 credits, master's, theses, and doctoral dissertations. Be grateful to your art. It has prepared you to play in the messy, fertile spaces of complexity and ambiguity. Be grateful to the artists you learn from and collaborate with. They too have walked this path. For just a few more moments, they are your classmates, but soon they will become your colleagues. Be grateful to your audiences. Your art is incomplete without them. Your art only lives when someone is changed because of it. It is graduation, and it is time to tell, time to live your story. And I can't wait to hear about it and all that you accomplish. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rabideau. Let's all please join me in the chat of congratulating Dr. Rabideau. Thank you so much for your words. That was fantastic. Now, if you would like a program of today's event, you can go to music.utep.edu. That's music.utep.edu. Right on the homepage, there's a link where you can download a commemorative program. You can print that out yourself and keep it for your souvenirs. A graduation ceremony wouldn't be complete without the UTEP alma mater please welcome the UTEP Concert Chorale under the direction of Dr. Elisa Fraser-Wilson as they perform Men O' Minds. Now we should note that this is a creative product of the quarantine and is the UTEP choir's first foray into the world of virtual choirs.
Far beneath the crowns of praises stands a roll of waters. Jesus walk your canvas, dust trembles against the heat. Gem of your living wonders, country, whose the
At this time, we'd like to present the Outstanding Music Student Awards presented by Dr. Stephen Nordstrom.
Thank you, Dr. Wilson. At the conclusion of each spring semester, the Department of Music hosts an annual honors recital where we feature the brightest student performers from each area. At this event, we also present departmental awards to our most accomplished graduating students. These awards are voted on by the music department faculty and recognize students for their outstanding academic and creative achievements at UTEP. As the coordinator of the annual honors recital, I am pleased to present the following awards to our graduating students. For Outstanding Graduate Student in Music, Andrea Davis. Outstanding Senior in Music Education Instrumental, Christopher Terrazas. Outstanding Senior in Music Performance Instrumental, Nolan A. Ansel. Outstanding Senior in Music Education Vocal, Erica Arajo. And Outstanding Senior in Music Performance Vocal, Tony Torres. Our final award is an undergraduate scholarship award from the Presser Foundation. This yearly award is given to an outstanding student in their third year of study at UTEP and is voted on by our music faculty. I am pleased to present the Presser Scholar Award for the 2020-2021 school year to Alejandra Sandoval. Congratulations to all of you on your achievements, and we wish you continued success in your future endeavors.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nordstrom. And now we'd like to bring up Dr. Elisa Fraser-Wilson for the presentation of the 2020 Pi Kappa Lambda inductees.
Founded in 1916 at Northwestern University, Pi Kappa Lambda is a music honor society with local chapters in over 200 colleges and universities across the United States. Its purpose is to recognize and encourage the highest level of musical achievement and academic scholarship. Today, the faculty members of the UTEP Zeta Alpha chapter welcome the following elected new student and faculty members who will be officially inducted at a future date. The new members are undergraduate students, Bethany Portillo, Christopher Terrazas, Dario Vasquez, graduate students Ivana Bilishkov, Andrea Davis, Preston Griffith, and certainly last but not least, new faculty member Dr. James P. Logan. Congratulations, new members of Pi Kappa Lambda.
Congratulations to all of our Music Student Award awardees. We couldn't be more proud of our students. And at this time, we'd like to welcome our colleagues from the Department of Theater and Dance to present their Outstanding Student Awards. Please welcome Professor Christina Goletti.
Thank you, Steve. It is my pleasure and honor to introduce you the students from Theater and Dance that are graduating with awards. Those students have truly gone above and beyond and contributed so meaningful to our department, to our institution, to our community, and to the discipline of theater and dance at large. So here they are. Bianca Taylor, Outstanding Senior in Theater Performance. Mariana Baidon Carrillo, Outstanding Senior in Musical Theater. Lindsay Heron, Outstanding Senior in Stage Management. Olivia Fuentes, Outstanding Senior in Technology and Design. Constanza Romero, Outstanding Service to the Theater and Dance Department. Romanti Ezer Mata, Outstanding Senior in Dance. And last but not least, Estefania Luciene Ortega, Recognition of Performance Work. Thank you so much and congratulations to all of our students graduating with awards and honors. Next, I'm very excited to introduce you one of the students you just saw, Bianca Taylor. Bianca Taylor is graduating this semester with a BFA in Theater Performance. And after graduation, she's excited to continue her work as a storyteller in the professional world and hopes to be an inspiration for her race and to open doors for people of colors and unprivileged people. I am going to share you something about Bianca. After I saw Bianca performing for the first time, it was so evident, her immense talent. And I remember that I said to Bianca, you know, the more talent you have, the more responsibility you have. And it is such a joy to see that she is truly stepping into this role of taking charge and really becoming a voice of activism and planting a seed of change. So Bianca is performing a short script, a short monologue that she wrote herself called Planting the Seed. And she's trying, and I think she's really succeeding at this, to plant a seed of change, not only for herself, but for future generations to come. So without further ado, it is my honor and my pleasure to introduce you Bianca Taylor, Outstanding Student in Theater Performance, presenting Planting the Seed.
You remember being born? Well, most of us don't. But do you remember being young, an age older than one, and you believed that you could be anything that you want? When I was little, I dreamed of being a singer. But my great-grandmother said that I wanted to be a stripper because I would take off all my clothes, being all exposed. But truth be told, I just wanted to be beautiful. So I would look on TV, finding a girl that I could be, even if none of them looked like me. Dark skin, full lips, broad nose, no. But at that age, I wasn't realizing that they didn't see my Black as beautiful. As I got older, a younger girl said to me, "You will look pretty if you like these girls in the magazine." All of them were white, straight hair, a name that they called fair. Shocked and stunned, I spoke words of none, a speechless tongue, not realizing to see that those words would grow on me. You see, it takes only one to plant a seed. When I was a teen, I met a boy that said nigga and Black meant two different things. A Black person was good, obedient, and polite, said all their words right. A nigga or nigger was basically someone who just couldn't be white. Makes no sense, right? He looked at me Like I was supposed to agree. And then he talked about Obama and how he should jokingly be hung from a tree. He should be hung. But he claimed he wasn't racist because he had a best friend who was black. His nickname was Uncle Tom. And he looked at me like what he was saying wasn't wrong, or better yet, wasn't dumb. And what did I say? Oh, I don't remember. But it wasn't powerful enough to get him to change his belief, not even to consider that being black does not associate itself with the behavior. And you are a racist motherfucker if you use the words nigga, and you're ignorant and stupid because having a friend that is black does not make it okay to say shit that is rooted in hate, you stupid ass mother. Excuse my grammar, but I guess I'm what he calls a black ass nigga. But what I remember most of all, how it wasn't just me in that class. And I know the teacher wasn't hearing impaired, but as this boy said these words, no one got angry enough to stand from their chair to tell this boy to stop. All they did was ignore or stare. And it's not that he shouldn't have his right to speak. Oh no, he definitely should. But their silence made me feel like this fight belongs only to me. I didn't want to believe that they didn't care. Maybe like me, they were scared, or maybe they felt like their words would go nowhere. But what if someone in that class silently agreed? Because you see, it takes only one to plant a seed. And what if he, or maybe even she, takes in those ideologies and believes that their race is the only race that should be, and that there isn't room for you, nor is there room for me? No, not in this country. And it's not being racist because, no, that's not true. See, we just hate people that look like you. And so what do? They buy a gun and shoot, and now it makes news, and they believe that they are warriors and heroes for taking away lives, because if it's not right, then there's no way it can be right. So everyone who's a person of color must die, and not everyone is mourning and everyone is weeping, but when this starts being a hashtag question, will we all go back to not speaking? I'm now 22, and it took me some time to realize that my black is beautiful too. You see, I was brainwashed by people who made me believe that because I was dark, I was ugly. You see, I tune in on TV, and this is what I see. Attention, Americans, all Americans. No, not you, not you. Definitely not any of you, but Americans. Only Americans. Americans spelled W-H-I-T-E. Exactly, W-H-I-T-E. Yes, you heard it right. White, if you're not that, then get out of sight. We are in desperate need of a cleansing. It is time to make America great again. We've been living in all this sin. Americans and all the blacks and browns who agree, repeat after me. Whites are the only ones that should be in this country. Open your eyes. We are living in dark times, literally. It is time to reclaim what is rightfully ours. All aboard! All aboard! We can't be silent, because words like this can ignite violence. It's time to be united in the United States of America. It takes only one to plant a seed. So I ask you, what are you spreading? We must plant the seeds that speaks of unity and peace, not only for ourselves, but for everybody. When I was a little girl, I dreamed. But now I plant the seed, because I see that for change, I can't wait for you. So I started with me. Thank you.
Thank you, Bianca. And now I'll bring it back to Dr. Wilson.
Thank you so much. Wow, Bianca, that was fantastic. Thank you so much. That was wonderful. And now please welcome Dr. Charles Lineberger for the presentation of our undergraduate degrees.
Thank you, Dr. Wilson. These are the recipients of the degree of Bachelor of Music. Our first recipient is also the banner bearer for the College of Liberal Arts in spring 2020 Receiving her degree in music education instrumental and graduating summa cum laude, Bethany Portillo. Receiving her degree in music education instrumental and graduating summa cum laude, Andrea Aguirre. Receiving her degree in music education vocal and graduating cum laude, Erica Araujo. Receiving his degree in music education instrumental and graduating summa cum laude, Miguel Martinez. Receiving her degree in music education instrumental and graduating cum laude, Jessica Moore. Receiving a degree in music education instrumental and graduating cum laude, Isaac M. Ponce. Receiving a degree in music education instrumental and graduating cum laude, Jesus A. Portillo Jr. Receiving a degree in music education instrumental and graduating summa cum laude, Christopher Terrazas. And receiving the degree in music performance, keyboard concentration, and graduating cum laude, Nolan A. Ansel. And finally, receiving a degree in music performance in wind, string, and percussion, Alejandra Ortiz. Congratulations to all the recipients of the Bachelor of Music degree. Thank you.
And now we'd like to send it back to Christina from the Department of Theater and Dance to present the Theater and Dance graduating seniors. Go ahead, Christina, you're on.
Oh, okay, sorry. Okay, so graduating with a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Dance, Melanie Elliott. Graduating with a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Dance, Jasmine Norris. Graduating with a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Dance, Estefania Ortega Jaramillo. Graduating with a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Theater, Lionel Avila. Graduating with a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Theater, Mariana Baidon Carrillo. Graduating with a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Theater, Olivia Fuentes. Graduating with a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Theater, Lindsay Heron. Graduating with a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Theater, Itzel Martinez. Graduating with a Bachelor of Arts in Theater, Mayra Martinez. Graduating with a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Theater, Constanza Romero. Graduating with a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Theater, Bianca Taylor. Graduating with a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Theater and a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Dance, Romanti Ezer Mata.
Thank you so much, Christina. At this time, we'd like to again feature the UTEP Concert Chorale under the direction of Dr. Elisa Fraser-Wilson as they perform Daniel Elder's Lullaby.
Sing lullaby, the day is far behind you. The moon sits high atop the sky. Now let sweet slumber find you away. The day is done and
That was just
My boss will thank you. The Lawnmower 3.0. Now, everybody online say that this is the best thing.
Thank you so much to the UTEP Concert Chorale. That was just fantastic. We do, before we announce our music graduate students, we do want to recognize Elijah Ontiveros for his undergraduate music degree. Congratulations, Elijah, way to go. And we'd also like to congratulate Antonio Mata for his undergraduate music degree. Way to go, Antonio. We're regretful that those two got left off our PowerPoint slides, but we want to give shout outs to both of those fine individuals. So at this point, we'd like to bring up Dr. Dominic Doja, our graduate advisor for the Department of Music, for the presentation of graduate degrees. Dr. Doja.
Thank you, Dr. Wilson. It is my honor and delight to present to you those earning the degree Master of Music. Earning the Master of Music degree in conducting, Omar Cordova. Earning the Master of Music degree in Music Education, Edwin Cordova. Earning the Master of Music degree in Music Education, Preston Griffith. Earning the Master of Music degree in Music Education, Elvin Porflet. Earning the Master of Music degree in Vocal Performance, Aníbal Acevedo. Earning the Master of Music degree in Cello Performance, Chris Biros Haggis. Earning the Master of Music degree in Cello Performance, Ivana Bilishkov. Earning the Master of Music degree in Piano Performance, Yuelu Tsui. Earning the Master of Music degree in Piano Performance, Andrea Davis. Earning the Master of Music degree in Piano Performance, Flor de Lis Fierro Muñoz. Earning the Master of Music degree in Bassoon Performance, Alberto Leroy Medina Rodriguez.
Thank you so much, Dr. Dosha. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the Spring 2020 Award and Graduation Ceremony for the Department of Music and the Department of Theater and Dance. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we wish all of our graduates the best of luck as they begin their professional lives. Thank you again to Dr. Mark Rabideau and Dean O'Hearn. We will leave the session running for another 10 to 15 minutes if you would like to continue shout outs to your favorite graduates. This session is being recorded, and we will post the video on the Department of Music website and the Department of Theater and Dance website. Give us a few days to make that happen. And now I turn it over to Professor Goletti.
Dear graduates, thank you so much. We are very, very emotional and very in awe of what's going to happen to all of you, because we know that you have so much potential and so much possibilities ahead of you. I particularly want to thank you for your courage, your passion, your honesty, your dedication, your artistry, and your own deep understanding of humanities, your own and our shared one. And I really can't wait to see all of you contributing meaningfully to our community, to the world at large. We need you. Thank you so much. And go Miners!